Hi friends, welcome to Cracku's video series. I'm Saili Kale. I'm one of the co-founders of Cracku and an alumna of IIM Ahmedabad. In today's class, we'll be discussing what should be your strategy while taking CAT mocks. A lot of students ask us basic questions about mocks, at when they should start taking mocks, how they should analyze it. So we'll try to answer those questions through this video. So let's get started. The most commonly asked question is when they should start taking mocks. There's a lot of misconceptions around this, where a lot of students believe that they should first spend time learning the concepts, building the foundation, and only then they should start taking mocks. I can understand the sentiment behind it, where they feel that if they start taking a mock before they have put in some time, then that mock attempt would not be a serious attempt. Even if it is not a serious attempt, even then that mock is, even if you take a mock before you have learned or practiced or built your foundation, even then that mock will be valuable for you in terms of feedback of what work you have to do. So every time you take a mock, it tells you what are your strengths, what are your weaknesses, and what are your what is the relative importance of different topics. So whenever somebody asks me when they should start taking a mock, I always answer, you should start your preparation with a mock. When I first attempted CAT, I started my preparation with a mock. I took a mock CAT and it wasn't the greatest of attempts. I didn't do well in that. Still, I got some idea of what I was good at. So I came to know, okay, I'm doing reasonably well in quant. I need some more work in DILR section. I'm okay in RCs, but I'm not so great in the VA section. So I got all of this feedback after taking the mock. So I could then use that and then go to the concept, spend time on the areas that needed work, what my weaknesses were. I could then use that this feedback to allocate my time for the next mocks, etc. So always start your prep with the mock. It gives you a very good idea of where you stand overall in the field and what your strengths and weaknesses are. Then you can start by addressing those weaknesses. The CAT portion is huge. It's easy to get lost in the portion and get overwhelmed by it. Taking a mock is kind of focuses you on the areas that actually need your attention. Instead of continuing to practice from areas which you are already good in, this will actually force you to take a look at the areas you are not good in. It's easy to continue to do, if you are good at quant, it's easy to continue to practice quant because you like solving quant questions, and ignore VARC because you don't like it. But if you take a mock, you know that you can't ignore the sections that you don't particularly like. It forces you to do all the sections. So always make sure that you start your preparation with a mock and you regularly take mocks. So basically, if you think of your timeline to CAT, so this is the time to CAT, and suppose this is D-Day. So this will be somewhere, anywhere from mid-November to first week of December. We don't know when they'll actually hold the CAT exam. But we know that you have, say, your preparation schedule should be such that you mark your preparation till mid-November. So initially you should have one mock every 2 weeks or so. And near November you should have one mock, like starting October and November you should take one mock every week. So basically you should space out your mock such that this is 2 weeks apart and this is like a week apart. Every mock is 1 week apart. So this is when you should start taking your mock. You should start from the first, from the start of your preparation, and you should start taking one mock every 2 weeks as such. So not just mocks, you should also start preparing and solving the previous year's papers. The reason why previous year's papers are important is because they give you an accurate understanding of what is CAT level. It's easy it's easy to lose confidence when you're solving mocks which are higher than CAT level. It's easy to get a false sense of confidence when you're solving easy mocks which are lower than CAT level. If you are able to solve CAT level questions, only then will you get an accurate picture of what is CAT level and what is expected. So to get that kind of a understanding of what is the expectations, keep solving previous year's CAT papers. All the publicly available CAT papers are there on cracku.in. You can either take them in the test format, which is what I would recommend, because that kind of gives you a simulated test experience. Then you can think that if I had actually given CAT 2018, how would I have done? That would actually give you this kind of a simulated experience, which you would not get if you had not actually if you had not attempted that exam. You would not be able to get that kind of sense otherwise. So take the test in the take the previous year paper in the test format if possible. If you can't make that much time commitment, try to solve one question at a time, which is also possible in the previous year's papers. All of these papers are available for free. So even if you're not a premium student of Cracku.in, you can still solve questions from this from previous year's papers. So this is the point, that you should start taking mocks. Start taking mocks at the very start of your preparation and keep taking them regularly. The reason why you should keep taking them regularly is because suppose you take a mock today and do nothing take no mock for the next 3 months. You have no idea of whether or not you are on the track in these 3 months. You could have completely lost track of your preparation, and there would be no way, no warning sign of that in the 3 months if you don't take a mock. The CAT mock is basically a check that every 2 weeks there's a check that you are whether or not you are on track. So keep taking the mocks from the very early on. This is a crucial period. This period is going to actually determine whether or not you are going to get your target percentile. If you start later on in the CAT preparation, you are going to cap off how much improvement you can possibly achieve. So if you are starting off now, make sure that you actually start off by taking CAT mocks regularly. That is a check that is needed for your preparation. So now let's go on to answering the question of how many mocks to take. So as I mentioned, initially you should take mocks. Initially it should be 1 mock every 2 weeks. So this gives you ample time to between mocks to do concept learning. So the way I've always mentioned is that if this is your time to mock, this is your time to CAT. So this is today and this is CAT exam day. So your preparation should be like this, where you start, when you start, your bulk of your preparation should be about concept clearing. So this should be basically about learning concepts, learning formulae, learning how to apply formulae. And the second part is practice. So this is concepts, conceptual learning, and this part is practice. So as you can see, initially your focus should be on conceptual learning with a little bit of practice. Over time, the practice part should actually take up most of your time. This is a examination of not just your understanding of the topic, but also your ability to apply the concepts under stress, to solve questions within time and to solve them with accuracy and speed. So it's not unlike other tests, like for example your 10th standard exam, where we are asked to list down 10 10 advantages of the United Nations or something like that. This does not require mugging. This requires application of concepts, and application of concepts is not something that you can improve in immediately. You can improve it by reading, by learning, and also by consistent application. So practice should be a crucial part of your preparation, and as time goes on, practice should be the bulk of your preparation. Near CAT, you should be solving, like every single day you should be solving sectionals, you should be solving practice tests, and every week you should be solving at least 1 mock. So the focus should always be in such a way that initially when you have time, you should focus on building your concepts, clearing your misunderstandings, clearing your understanding of different concepts, and slowly that focus should shift towards practice. So initially you should take 1 mock every 2 weeks. Between those 2 weeks, you should focus on clearing the concepts. What I generally recommend is, since the CAT exam takes place on a Sunday morning, I ask my students that every Sunday morning you should think that I will put aside my time on Sunday mornings for CAT. So you should say that I'll sit for 3 hours I need. So I will sit from say 10 p.m. to 1 p.m. every Sunday in the Sunday morning session, and I'll give a CAT. If you set aside this time every single week, 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. If you set aside this time every single week consistently, then you will be able to do well overall. If you don't make a habit of this, then your approach to CAT will not be structured. The reason why I recommend Sunday and not other days, because it will get you into this zone that this is something that you do every Sunday. also helps because it becomes a matter of habit. It also helps you in dealing with stress near the CAT day. So if you are in the habit of sitting and solving from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m., your ability to act as if this is habitual or there is nothing exceptional about this particular day is that improves with time. So I don't recommend, for example, taking a mock, pausing between sections and taking a break and then starting a section again, because you are not experiencing the CAT mock in the way it would actually occur in the exam. If you might need to take pause a mock for reasons such as loss of electricity or something like that, but ideally you should take the mock in one sitting the way you would take a mock on actual CAT day. So try to replicate that day as many times as possible, because if you replicate that day 20 times before actual CAT, CAT will just feel like just another day, and that will actually help you manage your stress levels, your nervousness better. So always make sure that you sit from 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. every Sunday morning and take a CAT. Initially do it for every 2 weeks. After that, do every week as such. And this will actually kind of focus how your week also happens. So we tell students that your week should revolve around the mock. So what happens is that you should take a mock. Based on the mock, you should over the weekdays you should analyze what happened in the mock. You should analyze basically your how your attempt was, what the concepts you need to learn, what basically use this as feedback for concept clearing, and also what areas you need more practice in. And once you get that feedback, work on that over the weekday, work over that like over the time between the mocks. Until the next mock, you should be ready with saying that okay, I had a problem in these areas and I have worked on them over the past 2 weeks, so I'm better prepared for mock today than I was 2 weeks back. So that should be your attempt, that should be your aim, that every mock that you take, you are slightly better prepared for this mock versus the previous mock. Even if that improvement is not like a huge jump, even if it is just a 1% improvement, even then it is appreciable. So you should say that okay, I was not prepared for the previous mocks in this particular way. My attempt rate was poor in this particular section, my speed was poor in this particular topic. So I have taken this feedback and I have worked on it. In this particular way, I'll work on it and I'll improve for the next mock. So that is how your week should revolve. Your week should schedule after you take a mock. From one mock to other mock, your the time in between should be basically used for analysis and then concept clearing and then practice. So if you organize your time accordingly, the mocks essentially act as time markers. So they make sure that you kind of stay focused on the path ahead. That between the two mocks, there is an appreciable increase in your competence or skill levels. If that's how you should actually organize your mock attempts. That you will not take a mock until you actually improve in a particular way, and you have to take a mock on Sunday, so you have to put in the effort today to make sure that you do better on Sunday than you did in the previous Sunday. So that is how you should how you should actually organize your week. I would not recommend taking more than one mock a week, because if you take more like one mock every say 2-3 days, you don't have adequate time to analyze the mock and you don't have adequate time to actually improve on the this. If you take say if I take 10 a.m. to 1 p.m. and then I take another mock from 4 p.m. to 7 p.m., how much difference do you think there will be between these two mock attempts? Would I be able to learn anything new in between? Would I be able to appreciably increase my understanding or skill level? No. So this second mock is kind of wasted if I do that. Between mocks, you should spend time improving your skill levels. If you have not done that, your second mock attempt will not be better than your first. Your emphasis should be that every single mock attempt is at least 5% better than your previous mock attempt. If you are improving, even if you start from a low base, that's okay, as long as you are improving, because that means over time you are going to reach to a high level. If you don't improve, then even if you start from a good base of like say 90 percentile, even if you don't improve over time, you will end up with less than 95 percentile also at times. So make sure that you keep improving. Even if you start at like 75 percentile, if you keep improving, you can do well in CAT. So make sure that you keep focus on the time between the mocks and keep improving over mocks. Now let's go on to the point of how to analyze mocks. So basically, something that I ask all students to do is basically print out a table for the mock attempts that you are taking. So this is basically your mock number, or the mock or mock name or mock number that you are taking, and for each mock, make a table in like Word or something like that about what is your overall percentile, what are your sectional percentiles. So section, so QA percentile, VA VARC percentile, LRDA percentile, and what are your attempt rates and accuracy in each section. So this is this multiplied by attempt rate and accuracy in each section. So 3 times these columns. So the reason why I ask people to make this table is that you should print this out and put it in front of your study area. If this is in front of your desk, what you should do is every time you take a mock and you get the result, write down this result in this table. If this is there in front of you, what happens is over time a clear trend will start forming in front of your eyes. There will be areas or sections that you are consistently doing well in. There will be areas that you are weak in. If this is in front of you, it's a visual reminder for you that you need to work on certain areas. It's a visual reminder that either your improvement is there, and if the improvement is there, it acts as a source of motivation. If the improvement is not there, it also acts as a source of prodding you along the right path. So make sure that this you print this sheet out, put it in front of your study area, paste it to the wall, put it in a felt board, do whatever. Make sure that it is in front of you and that you put in the values religiously after every single CAT mock attempt. Whether the values are good, whether the mock attempt was good, whether it was bad, those values should go up in the sheet. Even if you feel that you didn't do particularly well in a particular mock for some other extraneous reasons, and this does not truly reflect your ability, even then put the values in, because it's at least something that if it is something that if it's a negative result, even then it will motivate you to do better. So if it is in front of you, it will help you, it will keep motivating you, it will keep focusing you on the path ahead. So make sure that you put in this table in front of you at this. So this gives you a picture of how you are doing overall. This will actually keep you on track as such. This is your analysis across mocks. Within the mock, how do you analyze? So I'll just clear up some area. So how do you make sure that you stay on track within the mock? So within the mock, you should look at the following this, that for every section, you should look at how you are doing topic wise. So for example, if you are giving a Cracku mock, you get the Cracku matrix in front of you. So what is the Cracku matrix? It basically gives you a topic level idea of your accuracy versus attempt rate. So if your accuracy is on say y-axis and attempt rate is on x-axis, so it gives you a idea of what areas are your areas of strength. So suppose if you are doing well in say profit and loss, you have high accuracy in profit and loss and you have high attempt rate in it, then this is a area of strength. So basically if something is your area of strength, then you should identify, okay, I am very good at profit and loss. Any question that comes from profit and loss, I should definitely attempt. Then you have an idea of those areas that you have high accuracy but low attempt rate in. So for example, averages, ratio and proportion. For example, if you have very good accuracy there but you have low attempt rate there, then you can make a mental note that I'm not attempting as many questions from this particular area, but I'm able to solve the questions that I'm attempting. I should attempt more from this particular area. Then there are areas where you have high attempt rate but low accuracy. For example, probability, permutations and combinations, many students struggle with. So it might appear that the question is simple, but there is like a hidden trick to the question, or that you don't consider some cases or something like that happens where you choose the wrong answer. In such cases, you should consider that, okay, maybe given that I am getting so many negative marks from this area, I should be more cautious in picking questions from this particular area. And the last area is where you have low accuracy and low attempt rate. These are essentially topics where you know that you don't know the fundamentals, you don't know the topic, and therefore you are hesitant to attempt, and if you even do attempt, you don't get the questions right. So those are the areas you need to focus on in terms of concept clearing and concept building. These are the areas where you don't have the confidence to attempt because you don't have the knowledge. So you should focus on building knowledge of these areas. So this is a topic level view of how you are doing topic wise. So you get an idea of what your strengths are. So whatever your strengths are in terms of topics, you need to keep consistently picking questions from those topic whenever you give a mock. Whatever are your areas of weaknesses, basically low accuracy or low attempt rate, you should make sure that you keep solving concepts from that, seeing concepts from that particular topic, solving concept tests, working and seeing the formulas from this particular topic. If there is a particular topic that you are not well in, for each topic we have a cheat sheet of formulas. For example, for every quant topic, print out that cheat sheet, put it in front of you. So every day you see a few formulas in you, they will subconsciously be a part of your week's preparation. So make sure that you do efforts between weeks to improve in those particular topics. So you can do targeted practice of those particular topics. So this is a topic wise view of where you're doing well, where you're doing poorly, and then you can focus on your efforts on areas where you need to actually improve it. The second thing that is important is concept wise understanding of where you've gone wrong. This is particularly important in areas of quant and verbal ability. So concept wise, what do I mean? Concept wise, I mean that if there is a particular, if you had known a particular formula or concept, you would have been able to answer the question. So for example, in geometry, there are so many theorems. There are many theorems where if you had just known the theorem, you would have been able to answer the question. So whenever something like that happens, just make sure that you note down the concept and you actually read on the concept, see the concept video and solve the concept test. So this is a concept wise targeted improvement in a particular section. In case of VARC, what I generally recommend is in terms of RC, you generally see that there are certain types of subjective level questions that keep on repeating. What is the primary purpose of the passage? What is the main point of the passage? These kind of subjective questions depend on the passage as such, but also depend on your ability to answer that based on other external clues. There are basic tools that you can use to improve your performance in those specific subjective questions. So you should identify, okay, I consistently get tone of the passage question wrong. So maybe I should see the concept video of a tone of passage and then take a concept test on it. So that would be one way of improving on the conceptual level questions for a particular section. Then is the this of difficulty level. So this, when you are analyzing mocks, this should be the bulk of your analysis early on, because that is when you are actually doing the concept learning, and that's when you are actually focusing on the increasing your knowledge of CAT as such. The second part is this is basically improving your knowledge as such for CAT. So this is knowledge focus. Then there is a second part for improving in mocks, which is efficiency focus. So what do I mean by efficiency focus? The basic point is that you might know all the concepts in CAT but still do poorly in an actual mock based on the fact that you are not fast enough in solving, or you are not picking the right questions, or you are wasting time on questions or areas where you should not be wasting. So the efficiency focus is basically related to picking the right questions, making sure that you spend the right amount of time to solve, and essentially maximizing your mock attempt based on your abilities. So the second part that I'm going to discuss as far as CAT analysis is concerned is about the efficiency. How do I improve my efficiency while taking mocks? So in this, you have to first take a look at the difficulty levels. Were there any easy questions that you missed on? Were there some difficult questions that you should have skipped on but you instead attempted and got wrong? So this is something that you should take a look at in terms of difficulty level, because this sometimes gives you an idea of where you are going wrong in terms of picking questions. For example, I think this is part of human psychology, where a lot of students miss out on easy questions just looking at the length of the question text. Now the length of the question text is no indicator of how hard the question is. Even small algebraic questions tend to be very hard. So just the fact that there's a large paragraph and it's an arithmetic question, I know a lot of students skip that just seeing the length of the question text. But don't do that, because that might be an easy question. So make sure that you are not making poor choices like this based on incorrect heuristics like the length of the question. The second thing that you should look at is your attempt rate and accuracy. a low attempt rate is an indicator of lack of practice. There is no other way around it. If your speed is low, that means that you don't have enough practice. Wherever your attempt rate is low, whichever section your attempt rate is low, please go and practice from that particular section. For Cracku.in, you have a lot of practice tests. Many of these practice tests are available for free. So there are like some 200 CAT questions available for free. So if you see that in any section, in any particular area, your attempt rate is low or your speed of solving is low, just go to that section and start attempting questions from that section, from that particular topic to increase your speed. The better your speed is, the better your attempt rate will be. And your attempt rate needs to be very good to get a good sectional number as such. So make sure that you focus on the attempt rate and accuracy to improve your efficiency while taking CAT. The last thing that I will say is that your time spent per question. So your time spent per question gives you an idea whether or not you should have left a question after initially attempting it. So this often happens that the good students I know scan through the mock. Whenever they see a question that they can easily do, they start solving and they finish it. At times a question can appear to be simple, but while you start solving you realize, okay, no, maybe there are many cases that are attached to this, and should I continue, should I not? So this kind of gives you an idea of whether or not you should have actually abandoned the question on realizing that the question was much harder than you had initially expected to be. So time spent per question should give you a good idea of if you have already spent some time in a particular question, if you are near the solution, fine, complete it. If you are nowhere near the solution, treat the time that you have already spent on the question as a sunk cost, go to another question. Spending 7 minutes on a particular CAT question, especially say like 7 minutes in a quant question, does not make any sense. If you are solving an LRDI set and you are 10 minutes into the LRDI set, it would be very painful to leave that LRDI set, but if you are no way close to answering even single question from that LRDI set, take that loss, take the hit, move ahead. So make sure that your time spent, when you are analyzing your time spent, you look for places which were time traps and you avoid them in the future. There are some topics where it's easy to lose track of time, like RC. So make sure that you don't spend too much time, say, reading the paragraph, rereading the paragraph. So keep a close eye on how much time you are spending per question. So that is the efficiency level focus that you should put while analyzing the mock. So last question comes in, okay, now I have analyzed the mock, how do I improve in it? So as I said, the first part is your knowledge focus. So in your knowledge focus, what you should do is, if you have identified the list of concepts or formulae that you did not know or were not clear in, read or learn those concepts. For every concept in CAT, we have a concept video. Read or learn the concept. Take concept tests. Every concept video has a concept test. Make sure that you take the concept test. So this would give you a targeted idea of whether or not you are improving in that one particular section that you are poor in. This is your essentially like this is your goal towards CAT. Every single concept is going to be the step towards improving your percentile. So make sure that you take one step forward with each concept that you are learning as such. So make sure that you, for whatever concepts that you identify that you did not know in a particular mock, you take immediate remedial measures by learning that concept and taking the concept test. Another thing that I would say is that keep revising formulas regularly. It's easy to see one video. For example, there are so many formulas in geometry. It's easy to see a video early on and then completely forget about it later on. So the only way that you will actually keep remembering those formulas and theorems when you need them is if you revise them regularly. So after every mock, for every section that you didn't do well in, every topic you didn't do well in, make sure that you go through the cheat sheet and revise every single formula that is there. Every topic has a cheat sheet available online. It's available for free, so any student can go and see the cheat sheet as such. The last thing is that this is a knowledge base where you have to cover the holes in your knowledge. Then comes the efficiency part. So how do you improve your efficiency? This will only come through practice. So if you have identified I'm not good at answering topics, these topics, you need to go and practice. So basically you need to keep taking practice tests so that you get into the habit of solving questions from that particular this. If you're weak in LRDI, the only way you can improve is by solving LRDI sets. If you're weak in VARC, the only way you can improve is by reading every single day, reading actively, and then solving RC passages. That's the only way that you will actually improve. So make sure that you practice every single day and do targeted practice. Wherever is the problem, you have to keep practicing more from that topic. It's easy to keep practicing from quant because you like solving questions from quant, or it's easy to keep practicing LRDI sets because you like solving LRDI sets. But what you practice should be based on what you're not good at, not on what you like solving. So make sure that your practice is based on the feedback you receive from the mock. Again, another thing that you should improve on is improve your question picking. Whatever is your area of strength, the minute you see that, okay, I'm good at profit and loss, I see this is a question on profit and loss, I should immediately attempt it. If you're not good at a particular section, leave those questions for the end. If you see that there is a chance that this question would require a lot of time to solve, for example, some polynomial questions just require a lot of time to solve. It is not about whether or not you will be able to solve it or not. Most students will be able to solve it given time, but is it worth the time? You have to ask yourself whether this is the right use of the time that I have in front of me. In case it is going to take a lot of time for you to solve, you should leave it for the end. Then also improve on the whenever you identify that you have that sheet in front of you and you see a trend emerging, that you identify that I'm weak in a particular section. Immediately start taking sectionals to correct that. You are limited to one mock a week, but you can take sectionals between the weeks. So if you see that you are consistently doing okayish in 2 sections but weak in 1 section, you should focus on that section and correct it using sectionals. So use sectionals to improve on in areas where you are not doing well. The efficiency improvement will only come through practice in sectionals. So make sure that you keep solving between the 2 different mock attempts. Just learning will not be enough. Learning plus practice is what will actually give you the required improvement. So keep solving, keep analyzing your mocks, and based on that, keep acting on the feedback that is given in terms of concept clearing and practice. So this is how you improve in mocks. So now that you have a good understanding of what you should be doing, I would urge that if you are starting your preparation and you have not still taken a mock, please go and take a mock. We have one free CAT mock available on Cracku.in. Even if you are not a premium user, you are able to take that mock. So please go and take that mock so that you have an idea of where you stand. Thousands of students have taken a mock, so it will give you an idea that within this particular year, in the given set of test takers that are going to take CAT this year, where you stand. So that will give you a very good idea of what your starting point is and what is the work ahead of you. So please go ahead and take that mock. Thank you for tuning in.